A very good morning and namaste to you, ma'am, and namaste everyone, those who are watching this OYG session with me and with my ma'am and our team. OYG, that is Own Your Growth. Exactly, you have heard right. This is Own Your Growth team. This is a virtual small platform, and here you can learn about yoga and naturopathy and number of things a lot. And today we have someone special with us. Today we have our naturopathic colleague who is in Canada and also who belongs to us also, who is a native from Mumbai. And she's a second year student of naturopathy from Toronto. And she's very interested about the mindfulness study, what is the science behind mindfulness. And with this thought and with this presentation, she's going to share her wisdom with us. And I hope you people will learn something interesting today. And I also will learn something. She's my junior and she's my from second year and I'm from fourth year. Still, I will learn something from her. I'm sure about that. So I hope you all will learn. So over to you, ma'am. Let's see what we can learn today. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. And yes, I am a second year student from the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, and I'm really excited to talk to you today. So I have prepared a little bit of a slideshow, and we are going to be talking about magnesium. So I'm just going to share my slide. Let's make sure. Perfect. Okay. And here we go. Okay. Can you see everything on your end?
Yes, totally.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about magnesium. So this is an abundant mineral in our body. It's naturally found in foods. We also add it to food. It can be taken as a dietary supplement, and as well as it's found in some medicine. So with it being so important for so many processes in our body, I wanted to take some time to chat about magnificent magnesium. So just some quick facts about magnesium. It is the 8th most abundant element in the universe, and it's the 4th most abundant mineral in our body. So an adult body contains about 25 grams of magnesium, with about 50 to 60% of that present in our bones and the rest in soft tissue and blood. So magnesium is a cofactor in more than 300 enzyme systems that regulate diverse biochemical reactions in our body. So it's required to build up our proteins, our muscles need it, our nerves need it. It's required for blood glucose control as well as blood pressure regulation. So sometimes these most common things in our body are overlooked. So let's talk about this more. So the physiological functions of magnesium, or what it does in our body, is it activates our enzymes, it creates energy for our cells, it helps to create, repair, and protect our DNA and proteins, as well as it regulates the amount of other minerals that are found in our cell membrane. So in the body, it helps with acid reflux and heartburn. So with our acid reflux, we have our esophageal sphincter, and like any other muscle, it can spasm. So when it spasms, it may allow acid from our stomach to travel up and irritate the esophageal lining. Magnesium is also used in anxiety, stress, and panic attacks. So it stabilizes the membrane of our nerve cells. It regulates mineral concentration that's required for our receptors. And it also plays a role with GABA, which is our body's inhibitory neurotransmitter that promotes serotonin. The other thing that magnesium does is it helps in constipation. So it's very important for the interstitial muscles of the bowel to constrict and relax and move food down the intestinal tract. It's shown to help in Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's a cofactor that breaks down and prevents the formation of beta amyloid plaques, which are seen in Alzheimer's, and it's commonly associated with dementia, as well as magnesium can be used for bone and teeth building. It regulates calcium in our cells that's required for bone, and it stimulates the production of calcitonin, and this is the hormone that's responsible for inhibiting cells that will break down the bone. And lastly, it's involved in insomnia. So it's involved in the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps control our sleep-wake cycle. So these are just to name a few of the many benefits of magnesium's role in our body. So with how absorption and excretion, we want to understand once magnesium gets into our body, what happens. So magnesium homeostasis, or the level of magnesium in our body, is maintained by the intestine, the bones, as well as our kidney. So just like calcium, it's going to be absorbed by our gut. It's then stored in the bone mineral, and anything excess, so anything that we may not require right away, is going to be removed by our kidneys as urine or feces. So of your total dietary magnesium that's consumed, only about 24 to 76% is absorbed in the gut, and then the rest we lose in the feces. And intestinal absorption is not directly proportional to the amount of magnesium that we take, but it is dependent on our magnesium status. So I started off by saying that there's many sources of magnesium. We can get it in our food. So it's widely distributed in things like animal and plant foods, as well as in beverages. So some examples of sources of magnesium, if you're looking for sources, would be in green leafy vegetables, such as spinach, nuts, seeds, whole grains. These are all good sources of magnesium. Some tap waters, mineral waters, and bottled waters can also be sources of magnesium, but they are in smaller amounts. And then approximately 30 to 40% of dietary magnesium is typically absorbed by the body. The other way we can get magnesium is through supplementation. So magnesium supplements are available in a variety of different forms. We have magnesium citrate, oxide, malate, bisglycinate, and the absorption of all these different forms is different in our body. And then lastly, in medicine. So some laxatives have magnesium as a main ingredient, and it is in some remedies as well for heartburn due to acid indigestion. So there are many forms of magnesium. These are just to name a few: glycinate, citrate, and they all do different things in our body. So magnesium glycinate is one form of supplemental magnesium, and it's known to be the most absorbable form of magnesium. It can be taken to improve sleep. It also promotes that natural sleep pattern in people who take it. Magnesium citrate is often taken and has a laxative effect, and sometimes it's used in higher doses to help with constipation. Magnesium oxide is also used to relieve any digestive complaints, heartburn, constipation. And then there's chloride, malate, lactate. So there's a number of different forms. Now, there are some groups at risk for having below normal levels of magnesium. So these are groups of people who have gastrointestinal diseases, anyone with type 2 diabetes, anyone who's dependent on alcohol, or older adults. So people with gastrointestinal disorders usually may present with chronic diarrhea. So an example of this would be in Crohn's disease. And so this can deplete our magnesium over time. Another example is type 2 diabetes. So again, magnesium deficits occur because of increased urinary magnesium excretion. So we're losing the magnesium in our urine. And then people with alcohol dependence. So magnesium deficiency is associated because of poor dietary intake. And then lastly, older adults may just have a lower dietary intake of magnesium than younger adults. And then as well as our absorption patterns are going to differ as we get older. So you may be wondering how you can test your magnesium levels. So magnesium is going to flow between your blood, the bones, and inside your cells. So when we test magnesium just inside our blood, it may not be as accurate as the level of magnesium that we actually have. The amount of magnesium that travels in our bloodstream is less than 1%, and these levels are tightly regulated by the body. Magnesium levels in the blood or urine might not, for this reason, relate to magnesium levels as a whole. So it's best to become familiar with our magnesium deficiency symptoms as well as our risk factors as the first line of defense before having to test. But there are a few tests that have been found to be accurate for testing magnesium levels. So when and how much magnesium is a common question that people ask. When's the best time to take it? Is it morning? Do I have to take it with food? And how much of magnesium can I take? If I can be deficient, can I also take too much? So the general recommended dietary allowance, or the RDA, is what I've posted here. Now this is for Canada specifically. So when taking it by mouth, between the ages of 19 to 30, it's about 400 milligrams for males, 310 milligrams for females. So this will be based on where you are in the world, how you're taking it, whether it's oral, are you taking it through IV? So therefore, magnesium supplements, this is something to think of when you're taking magnesium supplements. And now in regards to answering what time is best, the time will vary based on what you're taking it for. So for example, I like to take magnesium before I sleep. I find that it helps me with sleep. So I usually take it maybe 1 to 2 hours before going to sleep. So depending on when you're taking the magnesium or why you're taking it, it's just important to stay consistent with the timing that you're taking it. So the most important thing to do is to set a schedule and then to stick to it. Now, is there such a thing as a magnesium excess? So the body is highly competent at regulating magnesium levels in our body and many other levels of minerals that we have. If there's an excess consumption, so if you're eating all those foods that I mentioned before that has high amounts of magnesium, your body will get rid of it through your digestive tract as diarrhea or through your kidneys as urine. Now, it is something to be cautioned with taking too much magnesium in people who either suffer with kidney failure or bowel obstructions, because they may not have the adequate mechanisms to actually clear out the magnesium from the body. So you should always discuss with your healthcare provider prior to taking any type of supplementation. And now, if you are taking medications, let's talk about if magnesium interacts with medications. So magnesium supplements have been shown to decrease the absorption of bisphosphonates, and the use of both should be separated by at least 2 hours. So bisphosphonates are used to treat osteoporosis. So you have to be careful when taking both of these. Diuretics as well can increase or decrease the amount of magnesium in the urine. So this can either lead to magnesium depletion or reduce our excretion. Proton pump inhibitors, when taken for long periods of time, can cause low amounts of magnesium, as well as antibiotics. So any different antibiotics can have different effects on magnesium, specifically quinolones or tetracyclines. And so it's important that magnesium should be taken at least 2 hours, or the antibiotic should be taken at least 2 hours before or 4 to 6 hours after taking magnesium. So that's all I have for today. I hope that you were able to learn something about magnesium, this great mineral, and let me know if you have any questions.
I think you have explained in a very short way and in a very wonderful way too. And I have one question. Like in India, generally people know that in which element, in which content there is magnesium, there is sodium. Okay, they are literally don't know. Okay, if they're taking so much thing like in their daily basis, their diet they are taking. The amount of which you told that was according to the Canadian dietary chart. So can you suggest anything for Indian people that these content will be beneficial for them?
So I will say that the amount that I suggested is for Canada, but specifically there were different foods that I mentioned. So for example, maybe someone that has a vegetarian diet that is constantly taking in these green leafy vegetables, they may not need as high of supplementation with magnesium. So I think I said 400 milligrams for males, 310 for females. So it may be a little bit less. And something that I always say is I always prefer to get your recommended minerals in your food. So as much as you can, get sodium, get calcium, get magnesium, get all these things in your food before you have to look to supplements.
Yeah, that's true. Is there any kind of medication like tablets or capsules they can recommend other than their dietary?
So in terms of magnesium, you can take it in powdered form. We have capsules. You can also take it in liquid form. My personal favorite is pills. I just, mix it in with all my other vitamins that I have to take. And so I'll take it in the morning or I'll take it in the night. But you can also, I've heard of people who put it in juices and they mix it like that. So there are different forms. But again, depending on the form that you're taking, it may depend on the dosage as well.
Okay, as you have said that the people, those who are suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia, okay, the main reason behind that may be the deficiency of magnesium, right? So other than that, if they will supplement with magnesium, okay, so that the problem of dementia or Alzheimer's will slow down or it will be persist for a long duration.
So the research on magnesium's role with Alzheimer's and dementia is still unclear. The lack of magnesium doesn't necessarily cause dementia or Alzheimer's, but it has been shown to have an interaction with the formation of beta amyloid plaques, which are found in Alzheimer's. So it may help with the overall maybe onset of Alzheimer's or dementia, but I'm not sure if it may come, like it wouldn't cure it or anything.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your answers. If
Thank
there
you.
are any questions, if you have any questions, you can ask or you can drop your message in the chat box too.
A very common question. Yeah, a very common question I get is, so I mentioned that magnesium helps with sleep cycles. And so a common question I get is, should I take melatonin or magnesium then? Because melatonin is the hormone that's involved with sleeping. So I would say that both can act to help with sleep and both have different roles in our body. So melatonin is a hormone, it's an antioxidant, whereas magnesium is a mineral. So both can help you fall asleep, but we're still learning what the differences in our body are with taking them. So that's a great thing to think about.
Yeah. Azuma is telling that she learned something today and she's thanking you.
Great, thank you. I hope that whoever sees this is able to learn something. And
yeah, sure.
I've enjoyed coming on Own Your Growth and being involved in this and being able to talk about magnesium.
Yeah, it's our pleasure too that we have connected with you, and in future we want this kind of session with you, like practical sessions too, if we can have. And it was really a wonderful session. You are too young, still you have encouraged us, you have motivated us in this form. So it's really a very wonderful session and wonderful time with you. Thank you for your time here. And I have learned something. Yeah, today I have learned something. I can say that this morning I have learned a number of things about magnesium. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I think there is no more question. We have to end this session here, I think. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are going to end this session here, okay? Let me know the moderator that he can stop the recording, okay?